Yes, I believe the NFL tried to humble him.
Yeah.
Yes, I also believe it worked a little bit.
Did it work?
And he now sounds a little more humble.
All right, so everybody is still talking about Shedeur Sanders landing at the 144th pick in the NFL draft, 5th round. So let's see what the Podfather Joe Budden had to say about this. Like the video and subscribe. Let's get it.
Was it football? Was it personal? Was it race? Because I don't know his talent because I don't watch football. The next day, 2nd round, 3rd round, 4th round, it started looking really funky. But then I read some reports and I heard some things from people on the ground who were reporters. And they were saying he had a terrible interview. Mm-hmm. He was acting like he didn't. He was acting like he didn't want to. He was going to dictate the process. Mm-hmm. And then other people just said he just didn't have the talent to justify all the headache. And so I started to say, shit, I don't know what's right. And I heard people like Bomani Jones, who I respect his opinion on this, say, maybe we should question why he was projected to go so high in the first place. Maybe he was never a 1st round pick in the first place in real life to the people who were actually doing the drafting. So, with all that information, do y'all feel different about saying that this wasn't about football?
Well, my original stance was all things are true.
Right.
Yeah.
That was my original stance.
As was mine, and I stand by it. The 5th round was egregious to me, but...
Yeah, I still don't see that 5th round.
I think his family plays a part. I think him being a distraction plays a part. I think him blowing off the entire draft process plays a part. He didn't do no pro day. He didn't do the other thing over here everybody else did. I do believe he was arrogant. I do believe there were bad interviews. I don't believe that quarterback that the Browns took in the 4th round with pick 99 is better than him.
No, he's not.
I don't believe that. There were a few quarterbacks taken that just highlight some other things. So I'm not saying that Roger Goodell sent out an email like that rumor that's going around now, saying that he told teams to take him off of the draft board. I think that the Cleveland Browns, when they look back at their faces when they drafted Shedeur and how stoic they looked and just plain in the face, I think that may come back to haunt them at some point. It just looks like, from the optics of it, it looked like there were things that had nothing to do with football that played a part. I think everything that everybody had to say on the topic is true. And it's true that he may not have been a 1st round pick originally. It's true that we might have bit the marketing bug, right? It's true that, listen, Deion had Gilly and everybody else come down to Colorado every week. It looked like a movie. They went from 1 win to 9 wins. You see how it could get...
Most of the people that I watch that are real draft people, that's what they do for a fucking living, said that talent-wise, he was probably a 2nd round pick. Although most people probably still had him in the 1st round because of the value of a quarterback position.
Mm-hmm. And it's teams that don't have... I'm a Steelers fan. We don't have a quarterback right now.
Yeah, and y'all also...
I don't get it.
Y'all also are playing the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes, and y'all don't want to piss off Aaron Rodgers by drafting a young quarterback that's going to get all the attention.
Sure.
I think that some of it's... One analogy that it reminded me of a little bit...
And y'all drafted Will Howard. I'm sorry, Parks.
Yes, right.
And y'all did draft a quarterback. So y'all are amongst the teams that drafted a quarterback that wasn't Shedeur.
Is Will Howard better than Shedeur?
No. We don't have to do... They drafted 4 Colorado receivers.
Yeah. One of his receivers.
They drafted all of the Colorado.
Won the Heisman fucking trophy, my nigga. Somebody was throwing him the ball.
For sure. But sometimes
his tape is his tape.
Sometimes that can work against.
But it's not a receiver makes you look
that your receivers are that good. It's a possibility.
And there was a lot of yak going on there.
But he played behind arguably the worst offensive line that exists in college football.
When he wasn't hurried or under pressure, his completion percentage was almost 80%.
Yeah, they turned that into he has a lot of tackles for loss. But look
with your O-line,
look what's happening out here. Now, that to the side, I don't think it's tough to recognize when someone has a focus issue. I don't think it's that tough. If I'm interviewing you for a gig and I know what this gig is going to call for in the next 2 years, like that clip between Cam Ward and Shedeur where Cam is like, yo, I just want to be a football player, dog. All that extra shit, I don't care about it. When you Google me, I wanted to say American football player, not rapper. He was like, yeah, you got everything handed to you. You did this. You did it this way. Don't worry, I'm trying to do it this way. It just highlighted the difference in attitudes for what the next step is going to call for. They said he had a horrible Giants interview.
Who? Shedeur.
They said that interview was atrocious. Yeah. And I'm a Giants fan, so I've seen Dable have those quarterback meetings, and he ain't playing in there. Yo, draw it up this scheme, draw up that scheme. All right, show me when X is W. All right, turn Y to. He ain't playing. So if you unprepared in that, and the report is that not only was he unprepared, but he had an attitude when he got called for.
When he got called out on it.
Dog, I'm not. If that's true, because I'm not just putting that on the black man without knowing. But if that's true. Yeah, it ain't hard to see why people would be like, you know what, nah. And with the coaching carousel that's going on, now I got to draft you and have your dad waiting in the tuck. That to where every time I lose a game, my head coach is under fire because Deion Sanders is waiting. I could see why teams did that.
But don't you think that
and I still think race is involved. The Giants, the last thing the Giants wanted was for Shedeur to have a fucked up interview with Dable. The Giants spent the last 17 months looking at this kid.
Yeah.
Teams got their best people spending money invested on finding out everything there is to know about your life. So hearing something is one thing. You coming in the door smelling like last night, your eyes looking like you didn't get no sleep. I'm not talking about Shedeur now, I'm just saying. Things that people are looking for that are demanding things out of you for the next level. Yeah, this is deeper than just rumors.
I think where the race
dog thing. I'm sorry, Ish. He had parties set, and I'm not saying something is wrong with this, but there are people that think something is wrong with this. He had parties set up for the whole weekend of the draft. That's cool. This being black is not a monolith. So if you want to celebrate that way, cool. But when Cam Ward is get drafted and go tuck in, focus, looking at video, getting with receipt, it looks different is all I'm saying. But do I think that he's going to eventually start in Cleveland this season? Yes. Do I think that trust God at all times? Do I think that he sounds a lot more humble since? So yes, I believe the NFL tried to humble him.
Yeah.
Yes, I also believe it worked a little bit.
Did it work?
And he now sounds a little more humble.
think
his father was part of the problem. His father was on interviews saying, I'm going to make sure that my son does not go to certain teams. He did that in more than one interview.
He did that for 2 years straight. He's also said, yo, be clear, we don't need the NFL. We rich already. When you start saying shit like that publicly, then you got to take what comes with that. You can't now tuck your tail and say, yo, they treating us wrong. But I think that if you drafting a football player that you think can help your organization win, I think then those things should precede some of that stuff. I saw Johnny Manziel, dog. Okay. I saw, what's the other white kid? Baker Mayfield. Yeah. Nobody questioned their arrogance. Nobody questioned that these boys were niggas that was unconventional, that was flying off the handle, that was acting like rock stars they senior years in college.
Really?
We do this.
But if they did
I have to respond to that.
If they did that, Joe, then he has a point.
No,
I'm not going to do that because I hate that we do that, and we do that a lot. So I'm not comparing this black man to none of these white people.
No, I don't care about them.
Two, in the event that I did that, Shedeur Sanders was not Baker Mayfield or Johnny Manziel in college.
He wasn't, but
he couldn't tie Johnny Manziel's shoes in college.
So they were fire like that.
Yeah, that's the argument.
Both of them was good.
Okay to say that.
No, both of them was good. Bro.
No, Johnny Manziel, y'all better go watch his dumb stuff.
And to your Manziel
and he was
point,
doing
though,
that on crack, nigga, whatever he was on.
To your Manziel point,
You can't say that.
no, he did.
What?
He right.
He was a crackhead?
He rolled out of bed on every drug from fucking Friday night. What? No sleep. Benadryl. Stop playing with Johnny Manziel.
But Ish,
hungover.
Look, to your Manziel point, look how it played. Look how it worked out for him in the NFL.
He flamed
only
out.
played 2 years. So now them teams could look at it like, all right, we saw this before. We not risking this again.
Shedeur
and I love that Baker bounced back. I want to say that.
On drugs, bro.
I'm not saying I'm just saying.
When you start talking about things in their totality, talk about them in totality.
Okay.
My nigga, it's niggas a drug addict.
Fame is a drug.
I'm not disagreeing.
If I'm an organization only.
Back to focus.
Only
That's what I'm saying.
If I'm an organization and you come in with the big fucking chain smelling like Bond number 9 and Shinseiya is next to you, that's all my hood wanted to know. My hood didn't care about none of this. My hood wanted to know, is he fucking Shinseiya?
So for those that don't know, this white 21-year-old college kid decided to play a prank on Shedeur before he was drafted by calling and pretending that he was from the New Orleans Saints and saying that he was drafting him. And then he said, kind of like, haha, you're going to have to keep waiting, right? But But he kind of did say, like, it's about time, let's make it. Again, I don't know what people say on the draft call, so I don't want to compare him to anybody else because I don't know. I've never heard a draft call before. But for me, I felt like that, when I say the arrogance, I meant the world reading like he needed to be humbled. Like the people, I feel like that played into the joke too. Like, this guy needs to be humble. And again, a lot of people have been pranked before, white guys, black guys. I'm not saying he's the first person. It's not just a race thing. But watching that go down, at first I thought it was disgusting. I thought it was shameful. I thought it was mean. Cruel is a better word. It was cruel. And I'm like, I feel like people thought that it was going to go different because everybody thought that he was the one to do it too because he needed to be humble. And I didn't like that. I actually thought he handled it responsibly.
Who the fuck's job is that to say we need to humble you?
And that's often what society does to black people and black
You know
men
what I'm
in
saying?
particular.
Like, who the fuck makes you the humbling authority? Get the fuck
I
out of my
thought
face.
more should have been done once they found out who the kid was.
Yeah,
Agreed.
1,000%.
For those that don't,
And I'm glad because they tried to trace it back to the Giants. Fuck out of here.
right, he's the son of the defensive coordinator of the Atlanta Falcons. Just
Like, that shit. And yo, they had enough balls to tape it.
Yeah.
that's what this whole
and put it out.
generation do. That's his whole generation. It
like,
don't
yo,
count if
what
it's
the
not
fuck?
on the internet.
And the dad, and according to dad had nothing to do with that.
No, they said they
the
found
kid
his
got the number in the
notebook or some
laptop
shit.
that was left open and moved on his own accord. But yeah,
What do you do? What do you do to that kid? I mean, what's the right response? He's 21. You can't. It's not illegal to do it. Like, what do you do to
Well,
him?
before I get to what I do to the kid, I got to see what the organization is doing to me, because that's going to determine what I do to this kid. Like, if I lose my job behind this, boy, when
I'm gonna be the defensive coordinator, all right? I'm gonna be on the offense.
Right.
I'm running some routes.
I'm gonna be on the offense.
yeah,
Like,
but ultimately, I mean, some of
your
that onus is on me. I can't get too mad. I left my laptop with confidential shit open in my house. Now I'm still gonna beat his ass.
and hopefully you thought that you raised your child
Better than that.
to have better morals.
He's not
and
12.
ethics.
He's fucking 21.
Bro, that's some cruel-hearted shit.
So he had Ole Miss. My dad is with the Falcons. I'm running around like I'm that nigga and I can do what I want. College, frat boy, baby, drunk white boy shit.
That shit ain't funny, but
At all.
That's you ought to be pumping that college shit. Go ahead.
All right, y'all, let me try to get through this because these allergies is tearing me up. Look, the Shedeur thing is crazy. I didn't hear about this rumor about Roger Goodell, telling people to take him off the draft board, but that's how it felt. I remember Skip Bayless said it feels like it was some kind of message that was sent throughout the whole NFL to say, don't touch Shedeur. Because we was waiting round after round after round. I wish I could go that many rounds, okay? Hey, no diddy. Now, also, let's also keep in mind the extra views that the draft got because of this. I think they said the draft got 7 million views on like day 2, day 3, because, usually after day 1, the views go down. And so because of this whole Shedeur thing, it kept the views going up. And I wonder if that had anything to do with it. Like, let's see, if we can get to day 3 and people still checking this out. Also, we hear about these bad interviews. And look, if he was cutting up in those interviews, and it was funny because I remember Skip Bayless also saying he didn't interview. Well, that must have been wrong because people keep talking about these interviews and they went bad and he was so arrogant and he was cocky. But to their Johnny Manziel point that they made on the podcast, not only have we seen Johnny Manziel, it was guys getting drafted with open cases before Shedeur. And look, I would rather have a kid that's cocky and arrogant versus a kid who putting hands on people and all this other type of stuff. But it was actually guys with open cases. I'm not going to say no names because, they young people, I hope they do great. But it was guys with open cases getting drafted before Shedeur. Let that sink in as well. Now, his value, they were talking about, whether or not he was a first round, a second round pick. A lot of people thought he was first round. Look, at least second. To me, if you was going to pick him late, it wasn't a quarterback draft. A lot of people was fine on the quarterback position. Okay, second round at least. As we start to get to the third round and the fourth, day 3, it's like, come on. It's like it felt like something was up. Now, I remember Stephen A. Smith saying that he felt like the NFL was trying to punish Shedeur to send a message to his father. And I thought about that as well because I think it has to do more with the comments that Deion made, but also I guess the whole show and dance that's behind Deion, right? You know, that works well with an NFL team and bringing them back to, I mean, not an NFL, a college football team. That works well with a college football team and trying to bring back an organization. But these NFL teams, they look at that as a distraction. You know, DJ in the locker room and all the other stuff. They don't want to see that. And then you couple that with the comments like, yeah, some places we ain't going. That was a detriment to his son, and he shouldn't have said that. And I'm assuming when they talk about this arrogance in these interviews, maybe Shedeur was talking like that. I don't know. You know, maybe once he get into it with the team, he starts saying, well, like my dad said, you know, if y'all call us, we ain't going anyway, right? Now, did they humble him? I think they did, but I think he should also use it as motivation for the upcoming season and go out there and be great. And I think he will start eventually as well. Now, this prank, it was cruel, but it's this thing with these kids these days. And, you know, it's Caucasian kids where they do crazy stuff and they put it on camera. And it reminded me of something that don't even have to do with football. I remember recently some kids, they went to one of these, like, you know, those restaurants where you can like eat, I don't know if it's hibachi or some type of meat and you cook it yourself, right? You go there and it's like a little cooker and they give you the meat and you cook the meat right there. Well, some kids recently recorded their friend urinating in the cooker. And I was like, why would you record that? And so it was a whole thing, and the restaurant had to give out, you know, refunds and stuff like that. But I thought about this too, where it's like, okay, you're clearly doing something bad that you can get in trouble for. Even if you weren't, you know, the son of some guy in the NFL who works for the NFL, okay? Why would you record that and put it out? And it does speak to that arrogance. You know, the father's excuse is, oh, my laptop was open. What? You know, like, is that the excuse y'all using? Did y'all think this, did the father think this was funny? Because, you know, when your job is on the line and everybody trace it back to you, you know, now all of a sudden my laptop was open. That seems like I don't know if I believe that excuse. I'm just being honest with y'all. And, you know, it is what it is, man. And if he gets a slap on the wrist for this, it would be very telling too. I'm talking about the father, not the son, the father. Because I don't think that father's going to do anything to his son. He might give him a stern talking to, but that won't be the thing that ruins his life. In the future, he'll go on and do other stuff, and people will applaud him for that. Oh, you was the dude who pranked Shedeur? Oh, that was funny, man. That boy had to be humbled. And that's just, unfortunately, some of the stuff that goes on in our country. I don't think that kid will ever be ridiculed for that. I bet he went back to school and everybody applauded him and thought he was cool. I don't think nobody will ever attack him for that. Unless it's somebody with the Sanders last name. And so we'll see what the father, if the father get fired. Well, look, if the father get fired, he might get another job at another NFL team. Let's be honest. So it's not the end of the world for either of them, the son or the father. So I'm sorry if I sounded a little crazy today. Like I said, the allergies messing me up. But y'all tell me what y'all thought about this. Like the video and subscribe. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.